to the CFG Game Cast, episode number 140, a weekly podcast created by gamers and streamers alike to discuss the latest gaming topics from the previous week. We stream a new episode on Saturdays and release it on, not Saturdays, Fridays, and release it on podcast services like Apple, Google Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, and Podbean. So show us some love, give us a follow, a like, a comment, what have you on any podcast services out there. That goes a long way. Or go to our main website, confreaksandgeeks.com, to not miss an episode. I am Mr. CFG Games himself, Davis Green, and with me today are my two awesome co-hosts. I got Lex in the second seat. What is going on, my cyborg?
Oh, cyborg things. I did beat the first round of the quarry. I did, and I already started a new game, and I had planned to keep my schedule consistent again, but I had court super early on Wednesday, and waking up at 5 a.m. and it's not conducive to staying up all day. So yeah, I kind of fumbled the ball, and I basically was offline except for Monday and today. But yeah, I played the first round of quarry. I still have a method to the madness, and I think that's what I'm going to do from here on out, and just keep a notation of it. But it was really good. I didn't expect that ending, so I'm curious to see what other endings I can get, and I'm really digging it. They did do an update last week, which totally screwed up my game. Every time I would have a quick time event, and if you miss a quick time event, it changes the path that you're on. It would start to glitch out, and I'd have to quickly pause it and wait a second. And when I would unpause, it would finally show me the quick time event. And I'd say about 60% of the time I was able to, and I'd done the update, I'd restarted my PC, and people are like, well, you should restart. I already did that. It's clearly not working. So get out of here. But
they needed to have a way to not cheat if that was the case.
Basically.
So I can understand that.
But my screen would go black. And so I'm like, I don't know. Am I supposed to go up, down, sideways, hit the W key? What am I supposed to do? So yeah, and I was doing real good on my first run. I was like, all my camp counselors are still alive. Some are injured, but they're all alive. Great. And within a span of 20 minutes, I lost 3 back to back to back.
Dang.
I was like, shit.
Damn.
So yeah. I was sorry, Brenda Song. We love you, girl. I didn't mean to kill you.
Brenda Song? You killed America's sweetheart, Brenda Song? How dare you?
We were all sad. We all had a moment of silence. I was like, oh, and it wasn't
How did
just
she die?
He picked her up by the throat and body slammed her, and we're talking she was like a rag doll. It's like Herman picking up Jedzia and slamming her down by the neck.
Jeez.
And then just basically squishing her head open. It was,
oh my God.
Yeah, I was like,
did you scream that?
Yeah, I had to pause. I was like, I don't feel so good. Oh my God, I feel so bad. But it was intense. It was very intense. And the people that I was like, oh, I don't care if they die. They didn't. They lived. I was like, God damn it.
We will remember her works in The Sweet Life with Zach and Cody,
yes.
So we'll go with that.
Thank you.
But that is so crazy. Now, a real quick question: did you ever play Detroit Become Human?
I did not, but I watched Smitty play it.
Okay, because I was just wondering if compared to the two, which one you would enjoy. But since you haven't played it, I won't ask you that. But I will ask you. Do you know who should be a citizen of Amsterdam?
I do.
It's the 5-star general of the itty bitty Smitty committee. I would like to welcome Smitty in the third seat. What is going on, Smitty?
Yes, sir. It has been a pretty. I didn't get a lot of gaming in this week. I was hoping to get a little more, but work was calling, and I've been busy editing and stuff like that most of this week. So unfortunately, I didn't get too much. I did get some Destiny in. I got to run a raid with the guys over at in the clan and stuff like that. So that was cool. I played a little bit of. I started the Mortal Kombat 11 story. It's on PlayStation thing. So I was like, why not? Let's check it out. So I started that. And then other than that, I don't know. I played a little bit of Scum the other day trying to find a car. I went around for 4 or 5 hours and never found a car. And then played some OW 2 last night, had some beers, and chilled out. So the girls are out of town. It was busy, but it was a productive chill week this week. So no complaints on my end, my friend.
What about? That is good, man. So wait, you're by yourself in your own place?
I am. It's Smitty alone, God. Home alone.
Okay. Now remember, I hope you have like 911 on the fridge, on the fridge door immediately. It'd be like, just imagine just like something random to happen. I just can't wait to see the adventures of Smitty 2.0.
I feel like Davis just feels like I'm an irresponsible adult.
Smitty, you have 2 kids. Of course I don't think that.
I don't know.
I'm just saying, but when you're by yourself, think like random weird situations.
I'm an old man now, dude. I barely have gone out of the house. Like I've been out of the house one time since they've been gone. They left on Tuesday. So it's like, there's not much I can do other than play video games, watch shows, and really that's all, and then work.
And hang out with Dustin and I.
Yeah, well, there's that. Yeah, we're gonna get some good hangs in this weekend as well.
Tomorrow.
So yeah. Very excited.
Yeah,
for
that's gonna be fun.
Yeah. What about you, man? How was your week?
Shut up. I might not give you enough credit. That's what it comes down to. What you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, it's been going pretty good. I've just been busy as always. Just getting some stuff done on the back end. I didn't stream as much as I wanted to. I only streamed once this week too. I only streamed on Tuesday, I believe. That because I realized I've been riding dirty. My tags on my car have been expired since 2020.
What are you doing, dude? You are so illegal.
Bad. Oh my God. I thought mine was, and yours is in the front. You can't miss it.
911. This man is driving dirty.
Smitty, his tags are on the bottom right or bottom left of his windshield.
Of the windshield.
In the windshield? Yeah.
You can't miss it.
I have not gotten stopped yet, and I was surprised. I was like, "That's a miracle."
So you don't have a tag on the back of your car?
No, I don't have a tag on the back of my car.
Theirs is in their windshield on the bottom left.
Yeah.
Interesting. Next to their easy tags. Yeah.
It's actually like if it was on the back, I would probably much guarantee I would have gotten pulled over by now.
Yeah.
But like,
year. Mine was 2 years overdue.
Yeah, so I went and I was going through the process. So like this whole week, I was like, okay, I need to be responsible again. There's no excuses of pandemics, and what sucks here in Texas is that the DMV is so bad here. It's freaking ridiculous. Like I have to take off work to go to the DMV completely.
Oh yeah,
because it's gonna take all day. It's gonna take all day. Yeah, it's freaking insane. Like the line is outside of the deal. So I was dealing around with all of that nonsense, and then tomorrow I'm just going to go check out this place called Free Play Arcade over in nearby here in a place called Denton, and check out an arcade place with that and some beers and stuff with a friend and stuff. So looking forward to it. It's going to be a nice, cool, chill time. So we'll see how all that goes.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I know in Houston it might be a little different, but they do have
I don't live in Houston.
I know I said in Houston it might be a little different because you don't live in Houston. But do they still have the handicap line where you can?
No, they don't.
They don't have a
anymore.
handicap line? Oh.
Well, I don't know about the handicap line, but I know
you could go and the handicap line was super short, or you could even call up and make a reservation and it was still super short.
You can still make the reservation, but not anymore because since they basically shut down half of the DMVs in the state, and then they made them regional, like certain areas have are responsible for certain areas of the cities and stuff. They basically made a giant funnel of it, which is ridiculous. Like there was a brand new one that they built that was like a giant facility, and still it's bad. It's just I don't know, it was weird because when I left Texas back in the day, I don't remember it being so complicated, but now it's virtually impossible. You have to say, okay, I'm gonna be in line for 3 to 4 hours. It's ridiculous. It's anyways. I don't, but anyways, I know y'all folks don't want to talk about the DMV and then the aches and pains it takes just to get shit done. So let's get this going through the normal rigmarole that we like to do each and every week. So each of us chooses a topic of discussion within video games from the previous week. The topic would or could be a game that happened, a game itself, or something that happened in the gaming industry. So we don't want to talk about it amongst ourselves. We want you, the listeners or viewers, on twitch.tv/CFG Games to be a part of the conversation, as always. And so if there's something that you wanted to chime in about what we talk about, by all means, just type it inside the chat, and we will be talking with you back. So let's get down to it. Smitty, what are you bringing to the table?
Yeah. First off, that was hilarious. We will talk back at you.
We will talk back at you. We will say words. Words may agree or disagree on.
Thanks. Stop and thanks.
And then you may reply back in the rebuttal of said words.
Fantastic. I love it. So Sony just dropped some news this morning on their blog, but we have now found out about PlayStation Stars. This is going to be their this is a loyalty program from Sony. I think it's, number one, it's kind of interesting because I feel like the gaming world and the casino world are melting closer and closer together. If you've been somewhere or been to a casino, most casinos have a loyalty program. This is essentially what this is. But let's break down a little bit of what you will get later. They still haven't announced a date or anything for this particular program. But essentially, and this is a quote directly from them, we really feel like this is just the best time to be launching this type of program in terms of how of us having the healthiest player base. The PlayStation 5 obviously is a huge success, and we really wanted to do something that can honor and celebrate PlayStation's history, and now's the best time to do so, said Grace Chen, vice president of the network advertising. So basically what this program will do is they will have almost, it kind of reminds me of almost like a bounty system where they'll have different in-game things that you have to do for particular games. If you check in and play a game online, if you play a multiplayer game, essentially different quests that then will reward you with loyalty points, which you for your account. Excuse me. The good thing and the cool thing about this is then with these loyalty points, and let me just find it in the article here. It says players can redeem points for standalone games, add-on content, and specially themed collectibles in the rewards catalog. I'm not 100% sure. I'm guessing too then that they're going to be putting together a rewards catalog, kind of like those things you remember back in the day, where if you did Marble, the Marble, whatever the points or whatever they had, then you had a catalog of different things that you can get with the points. That's essentially what they will be doing with this. And there are some interesting incentives as well. Let me find it because there's some that are going to be so here's one. As part of PlayStation Stars, the first player to reach platinum, completing all in-game achievements in a blockbuster title in a local time zone, will also receive a reward precluding others from winning it. So they're going to have exclusive rewards, say that you're the first one to platinum in your time zone or in your area or region. I'm not sure exactly how they're going to break that out. Then you will get an exclusive reward that only you have, which I thought was really cool. They said another kind.
I mean, that's kind of weird.
No, I think, I mean, if you can flex that, you know what I mean? People do that stuff all the time. It's like getting world's first raid or whatever. It's just a cool achievement. Kind of, what?
Yeah, but that's a different kind of thing, though, in my opinion. When you get world first in a closed off community, Destiny and stuff. But then now, let's say someone says, who's going to get the first platinum in this one specific game? I mean, and then it's going to be and the bragging rights is who's gonna I don't know. I don't know if I would ever brag saying, "Oh, I got my platinum in the first platinum in Ratchet and Clank."
Well, you're talking about PlayStation and stuff like that. Number one, so tell me that you're not going to, and they're not going to announce it and say it and stuff like that. That in itself has intrinsic positive bonuses to it. Sony pumping out your stuff. Hello, free advertising. Yes, please. Competition.
Is Sony going to?
I'm imagining that they would have some sort of announcement or something. This is just me speculating. One thing that we do know, though, however, is they say that another kind of reward Sony is offering is digital collectibles, which are 3D rendered representations of things like figurines of video game characters and past Sony devices. Some will be ultra rare and hard to obtain. They aren't non-fungible tokens, despite also being digital and collectible. This is what Ms. Chen had to say. It's definitely not NFTs. Definitely not. You can't trade them or sell them. It is not leveraging any blockchain technologies, and definitely not NFTs. That is a direct quote from Ms. Chen there. Yeah.
That's funny. It's
just
like,
great.
I repeat, it is not an NFT. This is not a non-fungible transfer.
Absolutely clear. This is not an NFT.
It's funny that you have to put a stamp of approval on it. You know what? I am definitely for, like bragging rights or like, platinums and stuff like that. You get stars and stuff for it. I'm cool with that. And for you to be able to replace it and get stuff like, exclusive stuff from it back, kind of like, back in the day when, when you were playing PlayStation 4, you beat certain games, you got specific themes. Like if you got a platinum in Horizon Zero Dawn, you get a special Horizon Zero Dawn theme wallpaper and stuff like that they gave you. I mean, if they're going to do more of that, by all means, it's freaking awesome. But
I think that's essentially what you'll get these points, and then they're going to have their rewards catalogs that then can be used and applied to in-game or games. You can use it for discounts on games. So there is real world money that you'll be getting essentially just based within their ecosystem, and then you can spend that on their stuff, which I think is I think that's still pretty neat. Especially, I think too, this is really a those first steps. Sony is trying to change how they do things. And we've been slowly seeing it here more and more as time has gone by. We've talked about it plenty of times. Sony kind of being behind on the cloud and working with other companies and kind of opening up a little bit. I feel like this is another step to be able to do that. Again, some rewards, if you do not have PlayStation Plus, are not going to be available to you. So there is an incentive to being subscribed and having the online play versus just being a Sony user. Yes, you will still be able to get points from doing like some of the in-game quests and stuff like that, but there's going to be bonus things and things that are kind of paywalled off a little bit based off of whether you subscribe to Plus or not.
Okay. I mean, like, yeah. I mean, cool for it. I definitely am for it. But like, I guess the one thing I just don't like world first for certain like for certain situations. And I think like a certain situation like Destiny or let's say Final Fantasy or even then an MMO, I think it works perfectly for that situation because it's groups that are dedicating themselves to do it. And stuff as opposed to an individual saying I got the world first, because you know what that reminds me of the Kapow like you remember when they were trying to figure out the trophy systems back in the day, like let's say let's roll back to probably PlayStation 3 when they like one of the worst trophies to get are online trophies. Because like the trophies where it was like that if you played the game late or a dead game or a game that had an online community, but it was a very crappy online community, and the only way to get it was you had to play online to get it and make sure that you hit the parameters. Let's say you get that said game a year after it was released, and the game no one plays that game. You're screwed. You can't.
That's
you won't
true.
be able to get that. You won't be able to get that kind of situation. Like I think when they're doing world first, if they do it the way you described it with like what was certain world first, I don't like that. I think that locks a lot of people out to get certain situations, like certain things back. But if it's an overall reward system, I'm cool. Like, yeah, definitely do that.
And I think that is just one example that they're throwing. I don't even know what that would look like or anything. They just used that as an example in that article. So I think they're they're not necessarily saying that's exactly how it will be or what that process and everything will look like. I too would be interested to see how that would work exactly. And kind of like you're saying, it definitely, from having trophies that you have to be online, now you have these people that, hey, I may not be paying for online, but I still have the game. They're walled off from acquiring that or achieving that stuff without paying. You have to pay. Essentially, they say you're going to pay for the online to get this, or you're just screwed. Which I definitely feel that that then creates this unfair balance, just because you can't control somebody's finances or whether they have enough to be able to do that. I don't feel like things should be blocked behind a wall like that. That to me does not seem fair. So it'll be interesting to see when this comes out and how they go about that stuff and what their plans are, to be able to allow that to do something like that, but for it to be fair for all as well.
I love the reward system idea. I mean, you brought up the Marlboro. I remember Parliament, and I got some really cool stuff from my apartment back in the day, and I just knew the guy who would come to our bar to give them out, and like at the end of the night, he'd be like, "Well, here's a whole carton that I didn't get rid of for you," and I'm like, "Guess I'll just keep it in my apartment for, when people come over if they want a pack, sure, whatever." But because I was assigned up to that reward system, I got some really cool pieces of furniture, like one of a kind pieces, and I still have them. But I think that I like the reward system. I know Adam's been wanting that for a really long time, especially with how hard he plays and how hard he goes with games. He would absolutely enjoy that. I think this is, as we were talking, and I was saying I felt like Sony was slipping a little bit. I feel like they're coming back over the hill a little bit for me, and I like that. I again, of course, we've said that we wanted more PS5 games that were just for that system, from here on out. But I like that this is, going to be implemented, and I'm curious to see where it goes. I agree with you guys. I don't if the world's first is behind a wall, that kind of sucks. For obvious reasons, but other than that, I've liked every example they've given so far, and I love that this is not an NFT. I repeat, this is not an NFT. Girl, I feel you. But yeah, no, I like this. I like it a lot, and I'm excited. I want to see what their catalog looks like. Give us a little sneak peek. What's
I'm just thinking like the when you were saying about the when you're reading the article, I just like just imagining the email that was sent to them. This is not an NFT. Repeat. It's probably bolded in red, underlined text, like just to make sure
it abundantly clear. This is not an NFT.
Such a funny thing that they emphasize, but they have to because what people would be thinking about because
they would.
It's unfortunate.
People are always looking for negative to talk about. I feel like like Lex is saying, we've gotten this recent rash of PlayStation making these moves and making these announcements that we've said that, hey man, they're gonna get left in the dirt if they don't get on board with this stuff, because this is moving into the future of that. And it looks like, obviously it takes time to develop and create something like this. So now we're getting what's been happening and while we've been saying, oh, this, they're falling off, they realized it as well. And they have been implementing things that are then going to bring them back up to where everybody else is and at least get them back on the same playing field.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying I don't think that they're in as bad of a spot as y'all, the way y'all are describing them. That's why maybe I don't know what it is when it comes to gaming. Because the only thing that you've always been on was Xbox Game Pass towards it, and then I was just like, nah, they're not even worried. I don't think they were ever worried about the Game Pass. Now that even though that they changed their subscription base to kind of copy what Game Pass is doing. It's not. I mean, I think that they definitely needed to do a change, but I don't think that they were being the way you're describing it, like left behind in the dust. I think it's.
I think they would have been.
I
I
think
think
they would have been too. And here's why. Because, but prior, and we've talked about this 100 times, when it came down to what system can I afford, which one do I want? The one that has the only games that are going to be on that system, or this other device. Now, I like Xbox Game Pass because I can play my stuff on my computer. But I feel like Sony wasn't making the moves that I felt they should have to keep competing with Microsoft in that aspect, and I think that this is a way for them to
But
start
y'all
getting back
say
up there.
that. But that's what's funny. Y'all say that, but when you look at the number of how many systems this system, like PlayStation has sold, like I understand if they were dipping, but they're not. They're destroying Microsoft and console systems. Even though, granted,
not in Japan.
You don't need to play. I mean, yeah, but not specifically in Japan, but in overall all units, it still doesn't matter because the biggest seller right now for gaming systems in consoles is Europe right now. But like, I'm still saying that like overall, it's still a high seller, and it's not even close. Like with the whole deal with it.
I hear you. However, for somebody like me who was originally like, I'm going to have to get a PlayStation 5 day one, and then I've heard, well, the games aren't necessarily going to be exclusive anymore, and they're not putting out just PlayStation 5 games, I now have no reason to purchase it. Does that make sense? Like, whereas before
I understand where you're coming from.
Flame, now I don't.
Yeah.
And I
definitely understand where you're coming from, and I still think right now PlayStation's still not there right now.
So,
I still think PlayStation's still not there right now on the PS5, but like I still think that like overall, like when you're saying that they're falling behind is where I'm saying it's like I don't think that they're in a dire strait is what on how y'all are describing it.
And it's not. And when we describe it like that, we don't mean that is in the present. That is their inevitable future, or that would have been the inevitable future. They have to make those moves and do that stuff now, so they don't, because that is the position that they would be in. So they're making those moves, and I'm glad to see them making those moves, because I very strongly believe that, you know, again, it's not a now thing. It's not that discernible, and obviously they're still ahead. But Xbox has been closing the gap on that.
And
PC, Steam Deck, all kinds of things that are opened up and don't have those weird ass restrictions like PlayStation does. I feel that they saw the writing was on the wall and they had to make moves now in order to protect the future.
See, and I think overall though, I just think overall the Soldier game was dusting everyone on the market. That's freaking hilarious. That was before or after the lawsuit from Nintendo, but like I'm just saying that even with the moves that they're doing now, I just think it's going to solidify them even more to where they're at right now, because the strength of it is just like what Nintendo's strength is. It's their first party, because that's the thing that's been slacking with Microsoft, which is like, you know, even though the Xbox Game Pass was the most excellent thing for that system to ever do, because if they did not have this, we would not have, like, they wouldn't even be in the marking of relevancy. But they still haven't even though they bought brand like companies, like a lot of companies, to eventually catch up. Now I would say Microsoft is in the one where they had to have to say that they were in the dire straits of it, because they weren't releasing their game, like first party content, to kind of show their relevancy of like why you would really kind of wanting to be with it, as opposed to
themselves.
Like, well, they positioned themselves.
That's why Sony Sony had to make that move, because eventually they are going to be pumping out first party games. They're going to be exclusive, and then that's where you'll see that gap. I think where it starts closing. I mean, if they come out with some good stuff,
I trust though.
I can understand that skepticism.
Microsoft for it.
I can understand that skepticism.
Like if you look at the history of Microsoft, when they do their first party system, their first party companies, when they bought them out, and then they did it. Like look at Rare. Like look how they destroyed Rareware. like essentially, with like Cameo and stuff like that. Look at who the studio that did Fable, for instance, like was basically bought in, and then they were supposed to do it, do some things. The guys who did Ninja Gaiden, Sigma back in the days was supposed to be a big thing and stuff. I mean, I'm just saying that, like, yeah, they definitely have some names. I'm not denying that they do, that they don't, and I think that they do have a good enough background, and then they have a lot, like, with Bethesda, Activision, Blizzard's definitely coming on deck. Then you also got like the people who did Senua's Sacrifice and stuff. Looking forward to their first parties and stuff. But I'm not saying that it's a guaranteed shoe-in. I'm just saying with the first party. But I definitely see what you're saying when it comes to that. Like they are definitely introducing themselves into kind of into something that will be that could possibly be a force to be reckoned with. But I'm sorry, give me a minute. I have to ban this 1, 2, 3, you go free.
Get out of here. Of course we don't want to be famous. What is your problem? I would have done it, but I'm not a mod.
Yeah, I would like to. It'll be interesting to see. I feel like this is, this to me still feels very much like a game of chess, where there's moves and counter moves and things like that are happening. And I think a lot of them, I think a lot of the companies, especially with the popularity of video games, streaming, that whole culture, and we have that weird mix too, because you have a lot more corporate stuff that is getting into that mix, I feel like, as opposed to it just being about the communities, or largely you have this weird, like, it's still kind of, they're trying to figure out how to mix and match it and what the best things are. I think Xbox clearly recognized that they didn't have the first party titles to be able to hold up. That's why they've made the acquisitions that they have to be able to build out and beef out and make that their library a lot meatier than what it is. And then you've got PlayStation and Sony on the other side that realize, because they've been so closed off, you now have all these people that are doing things with crossplay and you can play anywhere in these ecosystems. And they're like, crap, we need to, and they still are, but there's a lot more of a possibility, and which is smart financially on their part, for them to be like, all right, this game's going to be exclusive. There is more or less like timed exclusives, where this is going to be exclusive. It's just going to come out on this. And then after a while, we're going to bring it to PC, open it up to that market as well.
Yeah, I just think that well, I think what's one of the next Sony big moves that they possibly can do, because Sony still has like, a good amount of money that they were doing, because actually there was a point in time where people were speculating that they were going to buy another studio. And then, and to be honest with you, they have a chance. I mean, they have a chance to choose a studio. They could have chose Capcom. They could chose Square Enix and stuff like that. I mean, like with big companies like that was like the rumors on that could be part of the PlayStation ether. And then knowing how PlayStation treat their first party studios, which is very good. Like they think that like they would kind of separate away, because remember we were talking about the changes of PlayStation's monthly, their tier services now for their PlayStation Plus, that I was like saying, like, well, what if PlayStation, like, would you try PlayStation? Because like, even though that they're what they have now is not compared to what it was on Xbox Game Pass, they're essentially being able to offer now, since we confirmed that there's going to be day one things that they're going to be sharing, like Stray and stuff is going to be a day one release and stuff. So we know that they have the capabilities to do what Xbox Game Pass is doing,
right?
And on top of that, they have a really strong first party catalog of games that are going to be merged with all of this. Like your choices are, like, I think it's very like competitive to see the choices that one would choose. And then now with this PlayStation Stars, if this picks up, because I think that's the one thing that most people are not doing right now, is like they're not using the points, or they're not using all their achievements that they get in these games, and they're actually using it for physical, like, avatars and stuff like that, for non-NFTs. I repeat, non-fungible transfers and stuff. It's going to kind of increase that gap of of community when it comes to that level. So like yeah, so I mean I'm just saying that like if they're going to go that route, it does look, I mean on paper it looks like it's going to be cleaner to go on Sony's side for all of this, you know.
You're right, dude.
Is where I would go to go.
And again, that's them, because you don't really have that with any of the other things. I mean, you do with Steam, you'll get tokens for like purchasing things and stuff like that, but like you don't necessarily get things other than like you can get trading cards, which then you can sell. But yeah, I feel like this is unique, at least in the console sphere. And again, this is more of, I think their target here is about retention, and then even bringing in new people to say, oh, look at these cool things I was able to earn from playing this game that I was going to play anyway. Heck yeah. That's only a positive for them. And again, this is kind of that community fan service. Hey, we've developed this program for you guys, because this is also kind of them highlighting the years of the PlayStation family, per se. So this is them saying, hey, we want to make sure that we're giving back to you guys, because you guys are over here playing our games and doing things. This is a great move by Sony.
Yeah, that's very true. So yeah, so we'll see. Well, I mean, I think it's going to be very cool whenever it's ready and stuff. I'm sorry, I'm looking at dog shows. Like, you want to be famous? Well, do I have a deal for you? Check out My Only Hams.
Adam would be
that's good.
He likes ham.
Oh, that's funny. But we'll see. We'll definitely see. I think it's a really cool idea, and I mean they have nothing to lose on it. So we'll see if it's implemented right. You know, that's all that really
matters. And they said
matters.
they'll be adding to it. They'll continue to add to it and stuff like that as well. So I'm curious to see what it looks like.
Right on. All right, Lex.
My turn, suckers. Okay, so The Sims 4. It's been out for a hot minute, and I mean years at this point. But Sims 4 will start letting you pick your Sims' sexual preference as of this month. So that includes options for non-binaries, to have your Sims, which is EA's plan for the game. So coming from your queer content person, here you go. I don't play The Sims. I had when I moved to Texas, my cousin, who is very close in age to me, just some backstory, she played Sims, and she would make me sit and watch her for hours and hours and hours, and I hated every second of it, because I was not allowed to touch the computer, let alone like get close to it. So because of that, I never picked up The Sims. It would be something I probably like just because I like building.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I'm more of a physical person. Like, I want to physically touch. Like, that's why I like Legos and things like that. But Sims is going to do a new update, which adds sexual orientation options to the game to make it even more inclusive. The folks at EA and Maxis have been charting a long road toward a more inclusive Sims experience, with May's customizable pronoun update being the latest positive change. And the option to choose your Sims' sexual preferences is yet a big leap in that direction. Crucially, it won't be paywalled, so that's great. It's a free update. And this will start July 28th. So when you create your sim, you'll be presented with new preset options. So which gender, who they're attracted to, whether they're still figuring out their sexual orientation, which I like, and thereby might change throughout the course of the game. And which gender or genders they're interested in getting down to business with, or, woo-hooing with. And I know that the boys have some thoughts on this. And as
Well, I just didn't like. Yeah, I'm sorry, but I was just wondering because like I like as for you, I never really played The Sims. I've always thought The Sims myself personally was boring. But I know the community of The Sims, and they do have a really strong, player-based community that they even have, I didn't know this, but there's people that have Patreons to make apps and stuff for this game. And that's incredible. But but I was, on the understanding that you were able, I didn't know that you were able to have a man-on-man, girl-on-girl relationships already. But and correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, if anyone's played The Sims, please let me know. But I thought you were already able to have these relationships it's surprising to me that they would take this long for them to like, you know, get to officially put it in the game if they did, you know. So but yeah, so that, but if someone knows, please let us know, you know. So
Yeah.
but
It definitely feels like a dog whistle to the community, and just for me personally, and I'm kind of on both sides. Like I completely understand having that inclusivity, and you know, maybe people that, like, for me, I'm just like, I don't care, man. Like, it doesn't matter to me. It's not something that I think about, especially within video game characters, I guess. But I also understand too that these are, you know, being a black person, somebody that I relate to very much so was Colt McCoy in Deathloop. Just seeing a black protagonist, you know, that was me in there. I was time looping, son. It felt great. So I completely understand being able to have that, you know, and being able to a lot more relate to a character, put yourself in this. And if you know this game at all, you know what I mean, it's literally a simulation of life. So why it makes sense. That is a part of people's identities. That is a part of what people do in the real world. This game is a simulation of the real world. So I can see where that would be. At first, I thought it was just kind of like, oh, they know their community. They know that the LGBTQ plus community is very, like, there's a strong community sense in The Sims 4. You know, so I was kind of like, seems like meh, you know, whatever. That's just a thing. But again, I think this is more of them listening to their community, what the community is asking for, and then them delivering on that. So I've got all respect for that.
Though, don't you? I mean, kind of feel like
I feel like this is the GTA 5 thing. It's like, why make a new game when this game is doing just fine? I'll just make new content for this game. Oh,
I'm not saying not to make new content or make a brand new sequel. I mean, this game has been out since 2013.
Yeah,
and then they're just now deciding, let's put let's put pronouns inside of it for when you create your characters, and then be able to have a gay relationships and whatnot inside of it. I feel like it's way too, like, they should have done that a long time ago is what I'm saying.
And you're right. And I think that and again, this is just me speculating. I think it's something that they already had, but didn't deliberately do. Just something that was, you know, they already built in is stuff like that. I think it's more about it being deliberate and it saying, yes, hey, we hear the community and we are putting this in. We're going to add this in because you guys asked for it. You know what I mean? So this is 100% fan service. I don't believe that. I think if nobody said anything about it, it would not be in it. This is them listening to their community and doing right by what the community wants and what people are saying online. I've got mad respect for it. Because a lot of places wouldn't do that. You're right. It's been out so long. What's the point?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Even more so, I think, you know what I mean, says,
I'm just saying that it feels like it's just been a little like you were kind of when you were saying before the stream on this. It's like we couldn't figure out what the word is for it, but like it's just weird that it took so long.
I figured it out.
Oh yeah, you figured it out. What was the word?
Dog whistling.
Dog whistling.
Oh, dog whistling. Oh, there you go. Yeah, because it just felt like if it took okay, can you imagine normally a game's rotation doesn't take 10 years, you know, like it doesn't take 10 years to keep up. Like the only reason why this game has been keeping up is because, like you said, there's no reason for it to have a sequel because you're able to upgrade all the time towards it. And I feel like if they're just saying that they're just now following up with the community on this, then they're way too late on that on the cries of, like, you know, people of representation and stuff. This should have been done like a long time ago.
No,
I don't know if I would want to give them true kudos. Yeah, that's why I kind of don't really give them.
Nobody
true kudos
disagrees with that
on it. You know, I mean, that's what kind of gets to
and
me.
Like they're just literally it's hey, we heard what you were saying. We're gonna do something about it. And they had said something because I keep up with some folks that are in that community, and I know that I've seen some disdain towards the Sims company and developers because they've been saying this for years. It has been very prevalent. People have been asking. You are 100% correct that they are super late. But for me, it's you know what? I guess I'd rather something late than not at all, because that's the other option.
Yeah.
Is that they continue to ignore it and not do anything about it. So I think this is straight up hey, we did say something, and it might have been taking them forever to do it, but they did it, damn it. And I've got to respect that, because that is a matter of they could have very easily just, like you're saying, what's the point? This game's so old. Why are we throwing this in now? You know what I mean? And this was straight up you guys said you wanted this. You've been saying it for years. We said we're going to do it. We know it's hella late, but here it is.
Yeah, and I think too, you also have to remember, like, though this game is old, the community is huge. It is thriving. There are people that work on the back end, and you can go to their Patreon and purchase bundles to make your characters more customized with hairstyles, etc. So you can have a gay relationship in the game prior to this update. Your character can, have an open sexual orientation, essentially. Okay. However, with it being more direct and deliberate, you can choose that they don't cheat on their wife and so on and so forth with, whoever.
So are we talking about like settings? Like these are just settings that settings that you
they're
can
more settings.
change?
So like, let's say they're in a house with 15 people, half female, half male. And you say, okay, half my males are gay. Half of the other half of that half is bi-curious. Okay, well, the ones that are bi-curious, they can hook up with the males or the females. But prior to that, you could have a gay relationship, and those gay relationships could have children if you so wanted to. So if it was two males in a relationship, they could have children. But with adding in the non-binary wasn't really an option, because you can't choose that preset. And that's, it's not just sexual orientation when it comes to non-binary. That's who they are. And so and like Smitty said, it's more of a deliberate action. I think your games will play out differently with this. And yes, was it a little too late for me? Sure. But I also don't play the game.
That's also true.
You'd really like this.
I have scrolled Twitter, and I have seen a lot of, well, this isn't for my generation. No, it's not for you. Not everything is for you. It's not. And it just, representation.
Who said that?
People on Twitter.
Said that it's not Twitter. For their generation. Like the Sims have been around forever.
I love the Sims, but this update is not for my generation. Okay, well, if it's not for you, why are you speaking to the whole of your...
It's even really an update, though, that if you were able to have great gay relationships in the first place prior to the update, it's like it defeats the purpose.
Yes and no. I can see why, as far as how gameplay will play out with, deliberate, okay, this man is gay, this woman is gay, this man is straight, this man is figuring out his sexuality, because you can put that as an option. It doesn't have to be black and white, one side or the other. It can be, they're still figuring it out. Which, hey, if you want to watch that play out on, with a house with a bunch of people in it, cool. I mean, my brain died. Phenom, she has a house with, like, if you subbed for so many months, she would create you as a character and put you in that house.
What, dude? She owes me a character then. I've had to have been subbed there long enough.
You're probably already in it. I haven't seen her play the sub character house in a while because I miss her. She always gets on so early.
Existed.
Yeah, Doc's getting dirty with everybody in that house. He's flirting with everybody. The Grim Reaper too. I mean, he's going to town. So
It's like a fun fact about Doc. He's a man whore.
yeah, yeah. Well, and it's funny because a few of her mods who are lesbians, Doc will hook up with their character and they get real upset about it, like he actually did it, and it's humorous to watch the chat go crazy. But I think it would play your game out differently if you could set these presets, and for somebody like Phenom who has a sub house with people who are in real life, and she could literally set your preferences as that in the game, which
more preferences, more options are fun, I guess.
Yeah.
I agree.
definitely.
I mean, at the end of the day, like, who's it hurting? Nobody. Apparently the old
Nobody,
fogies
yeah.
who are 50 still playing Sims complaining that it's not their generation, I guess, but who am I,
But then again, we're talking about Twitter because that means everyone's
always
opinion
angry.
matters. So there you go. So
It
yeah,
doesn't, but they
fine.
think it does.
It's fine.
But yeah.
No, I mean, like I said, I'm not ridiculing it. I mean, I just think that it's common sense. I think it should have definitely been in the game a long time ago. But I guess now, I mean, I'm not complaining. And since I don't play the game, but I think that I think that there's nothing wrong of it being on the game now. So no, more power to it. So I mean, and it's coming in when? July 28th, you said?
July 28th. And hey, like we always say, representation matters. I mean, these two have never
Absolutely.
watched Friends. I was talking about Friends a couple weeks ago and they looked at me like I was crazy. So, and that show had no representation. And now I get why they haven't watched it. So I'm done.
Yeah. I watched in living color. Or not in living color, I'm sorry.
Oh, you watched Family Matters.
No, I did watch Family Matters. What was the other one? The Living Single.
Living Single, yeah. Living Single.
Version of Friends.
Yeah.
It was.
Living Single was so
a lot
good.
a lot less people, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
That is freaking hilarious.
I was very shocked when they were like, we don't watch Friends. I was like,
I've never seen that. No.
I don't
watch
even really
Friends.
watch Friends, and I've watched
The
it.
one Friends episode I did watch is when one of the dudes had a monkey, but I think it was at the very beginning of the series, right?
That stuff was corny to me,
season
dude.
2,
I was like, what?
season 3.
Yeah, it looked really. It was
Well,
definitely
my mom
not
wouldn't let me
my
watch
show.
The Simpsons, so when my parents were cooking, I had to watch Friends. It was annoying.
You don't have to justify your reason why you're watching Friends. We know.
Yeah.
I like
fine.
Family Matters, Live in Color, and Martin a lot lot So
I'm just saying.
yeah. But you're right. There is no representation. So representation matters, y'all. Just remember.
It's like 90% of my personality is based off Chandler, which is I don't know what that means. To be honest, I don't know what that means.
He's one of them. Is that David Schwimmer?
Yeah.
No. David Schwimmer is Ross. And then it's Joey and his best friend Chandler.
Which one's
Bing.
Chandler?
Chandler Bing. Oh God. What's the actor's name? Please help.
Joey Lawrence? No, not Joey Lawrence.
No. Hold on.
Joey
I got
Lawrence.
No, sorry. I wouldn't. Sorry.
Anyways, we'll figure it out later. But that was a good deal though.
Matthew Perry.
Matthew Perry. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Adam basically is him.
He was good in all I know is that I liked him in was the Whole 9 Yards. If I remember, that's the movie I really liked.
He in the Whole 9 Yards?
Yeah, he was the main dude.
No, that was Keanu Reeves, wasn't it?
The Whole 9 Yards.
That's replacements. Sorry.
That was not even close
The
to
Whole
the
9
movie.
Yards. I don't even remember what the Whole 9 Yards is.
Well, Bruce Willis is the main guy, isn't he? Technically,
Bruce Willis is the I just love it's like, oh, it's about assassins. Oh no, I'm talking about the football movie with Wow, okay. Okay. Anyways, we're gonna close this off with my topic. That is great. Smitty, never change, please. But I'm talking about I have been if y'all don't know me or if y'all have not been listening to the show, I have been praying on when this game is gonna finally be announced. Finally it has been announced. Bayonetta 3 is coming out this year. So I am really, really hyped up on it. If you've not played the Bayonetta series, it's an action adventure game that has this girl that has one, like, I guess she's a witch. She's a witch that has these guns. She has 4 guns. She has 2 handguns and she has 2 guns that are on her feet. And she does these crazy styles and she does these like crazy sexy poses and stuff like that, but it's very far-fetched, and she does some really cool moves and stuff like that. Really nice crazy action. And it's from one of my favorite studios, Platinum Studios. This game has been in like a limbo state for literally 5 years. like it has been so we've been waiting for forever for an announcement to make. Like when the next Nintendo, like I was always saying, when the Switch does their announcements and stuff on when games are coming out, I was like, okay, Bayonetta 3 has to be announced. Or it was either Bayonetta 3 or Metroid. The 2 games that really matters to me. But finally, Bayonetta 3 had a sneak peek, like had a short sneak peek of it, but like 3.5 years ago. Finally, it's coming out. And I am so hyped, and I'm looking at this stuff. This looks like this is going to be like mostly like kaiju fighting, essentially. Like you'll be fighting some big monsters and stuff. But what's cool is that this game is going to have 2 different kinds of like it's going to have. If you don't know the Bayonetta series as well, like she uses her magic, like her body, like her outfits is her hair. Or like that's around her, and she uses it as like a construct of something, like, you know, different kinds of
her hair is her clothes,
like her outfit. Yeah. So like the more that she does in her combat on her combos and stuff, like she uses it to construct like big things like giant feet, fists, and stuff like that. So like there's times where she can be almost nude. But it gets pretty crazy, and so there's
like
actually
like,
I guess kind of.
The more
I guess
they
kind
become
of.
one with their suit, the more naked they are.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess if they go with that logic, I guess it would be. But still, yeah. But but like in the Bayonetta 3, there's going to be a mode called Angel Mode. So you can actually, the Angel Mode, what it's going to be is it's going to, if you turn it on, you're not going to lose. She's not going to lose the clothes. Like she's just going to stay
nudity.
Yeah, straight up nudes. Rated Super M. Yeah, like yeah, no, like so if you turn Angel Mode on, you can leave the clothes on. Angel Mode off is basically what the style that she normally is known for. And I guess nowadays, since now PlayStation censors everything comparatively, the Switch is the perfect place to play the game on for this game. And so like I am like, I saw the preview and I'm like, okay, this is really far fetched, but this is the style that they like that this game is. That this game is in. So I think that this is perfect. I'm looking forward to this game. It's like it's coming out in October, I want to say 28th or something like that. And it's going to be a fun experience. If you love platinum games and you love these kind of crazy far-fetched styles. So what I kind of want to get what y'all thought. I know you're not if y'all are familiar with the series or if this is something that may interest you into playing.
Yo, you had me at feet, guns, and hair clothes. Yes, I want to go back and play all the Bayonettas. I'm sorry. Of course, I want to go back and play this. I didn't know any. My knowledge, because I haven't played any of these. My knowledge of Bayonetta and that character is from Smash Brothers. That's the only time I'm familiar with her and I've seen her. Number one, big ups to a protagonist with glasses. I feel like you hardly see any protagonists with glasses. Half of us are blind, gosh dang it. So, you know, like that's keeping it real. But come on, man. You telling me like there's like they might have to have a separate mode just because she gets a little too scantily clad? I am here for it. I am here for it. Not that I'm sitting there trying to look at some animated titties, but I'm sitting here trying to look at some animated titties.
Me too.
Yeah, like, come on. I'm all for this. I'm going to play the other ones. I had no idea. This is the first time I'm getting in-depth, like, what this game is even about. I've seen things and like this game has always been very cool. And I know the character, the character like is very distinct and people know her and stuff like that. And I recognize her even though I haven't played the game. But I mean, just looking from this trailer, and I didn't know what the whole premise of the game is about. So I'm definitely interested to see and go back and see some polygons and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm about this
the polygons.
Is the story compelling enough? Is it like something that you have to go back and play the other ones to understand what's going on in the overall story? Or is it something that you could just jump right into this third one and be like, oh yeah, this is just a game that I'm enjoying?
To be honest with you, it's been so long. I might have to go back. I'm going to go back and play the last two.
Okay.
But I think the story, the first one's a good. To be honest with you, I would rather just play all of it because like they're all good. I mean, the first two are just good. Are both fun and good.
So how would someone go back to play the other two? Is it like on PC? It's just Nintendo, right?
No, well, you can buy. Well, okay, so Bayonetta 2 was an exclusive to Switch or to Nintendo. Bayonetta 1, it was on the PlayStation 3. I don't think it made a PS4 version of it or updated it because I think it switched over to that's when Nintendo started getting got the rights to put it exclusive to their system. To be honest with you, I think the best way to play it is going to be on the Switch. You can download 1 and 2 now. It's on the store.
Okay, I'll do it
for a good price, and then when 3 comes out, just do the same thing. But I just think that if you like straight up action, you like the straight out quote unquote anime titties, you can definitely check it out. Check it out. What do you think? What do you think, Lex? Is this up your alley?
Yeah, you said titties, and I was. No, I recognize the character. I know who she is. And it's funny because my dad also knew who she was, and like thinking back,
wow.
I had like a memory because Brandy would, she always had glasses when we were kids, and a couple times she had very similar. She always went with that style of glasses, but she had ones with like an ornate like siding, and my dad was like, "Oh, you got the Bayonetta glasses," and we were like, "What?" And now I know why. So apparently my dad might have played this. Good job, Dad. But yeah, no, I'm like looking up information like who's Bayonetta? Well, she's an Umbra witch. And what's a lumen? Well, a lumen is so I'm digging pretty deep here as you guys were talking. It looks really cool. The first story, to answer Smitty's question, basically is her going back to her childhood home to remember.
Whoa. I'm gonna play them.
Well, I'm just giving you the synopsis. It says she's
okay.
She's going back to remember her forgotten upbringing, essentially. So I would say you probably want to start there.
I'm going. Knowing that they're on the Switch, I'll get both of them.
I mean, I don't utilize my Switch enough, so samesies. But Dust is saying that he's played the older ones and he still has no clue what's going on. But I love him, but I think goldfish have better memory. So
got him.
Just kidding.
Dang.
But I have a question. Stop. I'm just kidding. What? Well, if there are beautiful ladies around, he gets distracted. Okay, I would know. My question is: so you were saying that the battles obviously are more like monster fights in this one. In the first two, were they not so much that? Were they more fighting other?
No, there were still big monsters, but I think the more emphasis on this. I'm only seeing this by just a preview, so I don't know what to expect. How the rest of it's going to be.
Right.
I feel that the original ones were played kind of like Devil May Cry. If you played those,
and I haven't. I've started the first one, but like that's what this reminded me of. And the whole time I was like, this is like Devil May Cry, but with the female protagonist. And obviously more than that, but. You know what I mean? But very similar play style.
Yeah. Well, I can already say, look, I know we're joking about the tatas and stuff, But I'm already like giving them points because I've seen several females and they all have different body types.
Mhm.
Some are smaller chested. It doesn't feel like they're trying to completely objectify women left and right in this game, which I like. Give us some variety. Not everybody is built like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you may want to kind of hold that one off a little bit, but yeah, I would
Oh,
say, but
oh.
like, yeah, it's kind of, but the first, I mean, the first game gets kind of crazy, but like, I mean, like, actually, when the first game came out, it was very, well, a lot of people kind of were on the fence on it. But there was actually a good, like, community that was backing it up, which was actually very cool. But the other ones, for the most part, I think that, like, well, just the gameplay style is what makes it fun, and how you can do the combos, and then the character itself, though, too, because she, like, the way she moves, the way she talked, very, very sexy. Like, is essentially everything that was her thing. Like, her poses,
She's
her
confident.
there
I
was
like
like,
that.
yeah, like if I look like
she
that, I would
had-
too. I'm like,
there
why
was
not?
a move that she had that was literally like a dominatrix kind of, like a rack pin that she used to kill some of these people.
It
Like,
reminds
there was
me
a
of
lot
that
yeah,
that chick
a lot
from
of
My
craziness.
Hero, the one that like
Oh,
basically,
the one with the perfume scents and stuff.
yeah, she's like basically a
Yeah,
dominatrix. And
she's basically a dominatrix, but she's like a teacher. Jesus, yeah. That was like the most. Oh my god.
That's what it reminds me of. Very kind of like indiscreet, but not really at all. Like straight up, like just being like, I'm not gonna just say it outright, but I keep it. I'm keeping it professional.
Yeah,
But at the same
it's
time, I
midnight.
gotta
There
say
we
things
go.
when I gotta call it. I gotta do
Yeah.
things when I see it.
Yeah, I just think that overall, like, I just think that this game, I've been waiting for this game for years, dude. Like, this is one of the two games I was really waiting for the Switch to get. The other game is going to be Metroid whenever that comes out, which would be great. Or Metroid Prime 4, which hopefully that's what it is, but we'll see. But this is, I'm glad. I'm definitely, hopefully y'all try this out. If we all play this,
I'm gonna get this right after the podcast.
Yeah.
I know. I've been wanting. This is definitely a game that has been on my list, and I knew about the people waiting for this game, this new one to come out, and have been talking about it a lot of times when they come out with directs. Maybe Bayonetta 3, and they never did it. So to see them finally announce it, to be able to see some at least some cinematics from it and stuff like that, a little bit of gameplay is exciting. So I want to get on. I'm going to get on board with this.
Ravage and Ruin, when did Bayonetta get so freaking cool? She was always freaking cool, dude. Like, see, when Bayonetta first came out, no one knew about it. Like, the game, I mean, and it was always a cult classic when it came in, but when 2 was announced, because 2 was the exclusive for Nintendo, people were on board, and it still was, like, successful, for the group. There was still a good amount of people that were still interested in wanting to play it and stuff. So this one, I don't know what, like, this was under a weird limbo for years, maybe because like Platinum Games kind of stretched out their group 2 thing, because they were making a lot of different kinds of games at the same time, but I have no idea. But this is the one that like they did a preview of it 4 or 5 years ago, and then they were like, okay, we're just gonna say when we're done, it's gonna be done. So like I skipped Travis Strikes Back. I was like, okay, I'm waiting for this one. This is the one that I'm wanting to get. So I'm glad. Yeah. So definitely, guys, check out Bayonetta 3. I'm definitely picking this sucker up. I think you will not be disappointed when this game comes out. So I'm going to definitely play the older ones too, to kind of get back at it.
I think I am too. I just have to talk to Adam because he's my card at the moment.
It comes out in October, man. Yo, I say it. Nintendo's always sneaky about their, like, they'll all of a sudden just drop some, like, hey, this major game is coming out in like 2 months.
What sucks is that date is that comes out 2 weeks before the new Pokemon game comes out.
So, like, interesting.
So I don't know what's gonna, like, I mean, we'll see. We'll definitely see. But then again, I mean, it's Pokemon. Pokemon's going to sell their millions and 1000000s of copies of it. This one's going to be like the ones for the cult classic folks, and I'm definitely going to be on top of it. I'm going to support it. So we'll see. Folks, Thank you for listening to episode number 140 of the CFG Game Cast. Thank you for being a part of the conversation as always. We will be back next week with a brand new, spanking new episode as always. But if you did miss out on this episode, that's perfectly all right. You can check us. We release it on Mondays at the beginning of every week on all podcast services. So you can check us out on Podbean, whatever it's called. All podcast services, Apple, Google Podcasts, too, just everything, all of them. No reasons. There you go. So there's absolutely no reason to miss out on all sexy voices. Guys, thank you for being a part of the conversation, and we'll be back again. But if you did miss out, if you did want to check out some more content that we like to do, check us out on our main website, confreaksandgeeks.com. We have a lot of cool content on that website. We do a lot of crazy stuff. So we'll see. So we'll definitely check you out there too. So once again, this is Davis, Lex, and Smitty signing off. Y'all take it easy.
Bye.